All right, I'm welcoming you to chair yoga for everybody and for the care of Waldenstroms. We're here in the live session with 27 folks from all around the world. Their fur babies, dogs, cats, and whatnot, always seem to find their way into our wellness classes. So I think that can be tremendously comforting to some of us. In today's class, we're going to do our usual all over mind-body movement, mindful movement. But I want to kind of focus a little bit on our proprioception, which is sort of the ability's body to tell where it is in space. And it's done through mechanoreceptors in the muscles and connective tissues. So you sitting right here, right now, you're not falling off your chair thanks to proprioception, thanks to your body balancing on your chair. And we're going to be also talking a little bit, doing some exercises that are maybe called interoception, which is the body's ability to sense itself from the inside. I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm breathing a full breath. So we're going to play with these two concepts throughout our yoga session today. And I was inspired by our peripheral neuropathy webinar last week, which so many of you attended. And our presenter, Nancy Campbell, was talking about having a reduced sense of proprioception due to those nerves being affected by peripheral neuropathy. And so what are some ways, I began to think, that we could help increase proprioception? And, basically moving your body is a good way to do it because it trains your body to work and to strengthen and to be flexible and to be able to move fluidly, to be coordinated. But I also began to think about the eyes and their part, the part they play in our sense of balance, and our sense of our inner eye as well. So I kind of want to wrap all of that up and see how that can work into our usual sequence. I want to start right away with the eyes. We're going to take our glasses off if we wear glasses. And we're going to rub our hands together. We're going to do an exercise that we call palming, right? We do it almost every time we meet. So we're giving the eyes a little break, softly covering the eyes with the cupped palms. So I'm just at the very beginning of our class, asking you to come into more of an inner place. And in this inner place, we can just let the eyes rest. And we can take an easy breath in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth. Easy breath in, letting the eyes rest. You could roll the eyes around a little bit as you breathe in and out. Just allowing the eyes to rest for one more breath. And then we can gradually just bring the hands down and softly blink those eyes open. And maybe take a moment to gather yourself, take the glasses, put them back on, take a sip of water. And we'll work with our peripheral vision. So I actually was so thrilled and amazed to learn more about peripheral vision, that it can be very useful if we're anxious to do peripheral vision exercises. How many of you, raise your hand, have ever been so anxious that you have experienced tunnel vision? Oh my gosh, yes, me. Or if you've been unfortunate enough to have that sort of fainting feeling where you might faint, you might get tunnel vision. Oh, it sucks, right? It really sucks. So this is what happens. We kind of diminish what's coming in to the field of vision as a way to compensate for what's going on. we don't have the ability to, take all of that in. So we've reduced the gaze. Now, if I can soften my gaze, if I can find a point far away, somewhere around the horizon of my eyes, and it's not the monitor for me. I don't want to look at the monitor. We're already looking at the monitor and the phones too much. So I'm going to find a place to gaze that's far away, that's sort of at the center of my vision, and I'm going to focus my gaze on that and notice everything that I can notice about that. And I'm taking 3 breaths here. So I'm really focused. This is my central field of vision here on that one object. I could blink my eyes a few times doing this. And I'm going to bring my hands up and sort of frame my vision here. I still have my focal point, the thing that I'm looking at in the center, and my hands are framing that. I'm going to stay with a soft gaze on that thing in the distance. And I'm going to start to widen my hands out to the sides. And I'm going to ask myself to also be looking at my hands as they move to the periphery of my vision. And when I can no longer see my hands, I'm going to stop and I'm going to bring them back. And I might bring them down a little bit and just make a movement so I can continue to notice my hands in space. And I'm going to play around with moving them out of the peripheral field of vision and moving them in where I can see them and where I can't see them. And I might do that one more time, just play around with that. And then I'm just bringing my hands into my lap. I'm just going to close my eyes for a moment, take a breath in, take a breath out, and open the eyes with a soft gaze. And I'm just aware of everything that is to the front of me and all the way to the sides of me. So I can sense, the room around me. Okay, so that is an exercise you can do to help with anxiety and to help with balance. For those of us, especially who have peripheral neuropathy and might have decreased proprioception, right? That's one little layer we can add, along with working the muscles and all of the mechanoreceptors that send messages to our brain about where we are in space. So let's do a little bit of that now. I'm going to tilt my right ear to my right shoulder. I'll come back to center, inhaling. Exhaling, left ear to left shoulder. And I'm going to see if as I move to side here, I can still have that soft gaze, right? That soft gaze that tells me everything is okay. Everything is going to be okay. Tilting my head from side to side, reducing perhaps some feeling of stress and tension in the shoulders and the neck. One more on each side. Beautiful. And then we're coming back to center. And I'll bring my right arm out to the right. And I might do a sweep in front, right? I'll get my place to gaze that's not moving, and I'll sweep my right arm to the right. And I'm aware of my right arm with my vision and also with my muscles where I can feel it. It's out here on the right side. And I'm going to widen out my fingers as wide as I can. I can feel that. I can't necessarily see that so much. And I'll go ahead and curl my fist around my thumb, drop my knuckles down, big wrist stretch. Breathing in, lifting up, spreading wide. So this is something we do all the time, but just adding that soft gaze, that awareness of peripheral vision, everything that's on my right side as I do this last one. I'm going to keep my palm lifted and tilt my left ear to my left shoulder. Does that change what I can see? And I'll begin to circle my palm. So awareness of that movement over on the right side, both in sensation you're directly experiencing and in the field of vision, right? Change it up if you need to. And I'm going to just bring my right arm behind my back or rest it on my hip, still tilting my left ear to my left shoulder. And I can just spin my chin down, taking a couple of easy breaths, letting go of worrying about what's next. Could I just be here in this moment, exactly as I am? I could be a total mess. That would be totally fine. Come on back up and we'll switch sides. And we'll stretch that left arm out to the left. So I've got that soft gaze somewhere in the distance. And I'm aware of my left arm out to the left here. I'm going to open up my fingertips as wide as I can and curl that fist around the thumb. Drop the knuckles down. Breathing in, lifting, spreading. Breathing out, dropping it down. Taking one more like that, I'm aware on a couple different levels of my hands moving. And then I'm going to bring my palm back up and I'll tilt my right ear over to my right shoulder. Take those little circles, soft circles to the left, moving downwards little by little. Breathing. That's good, Susan. And that's going out to 3 Susans at the same time. And then we'll bring the arm behind the back. And I'll spin my chin down and I'm just giving myself permission to soften a little bit in the shoulders and the jaw and just arrive. And then we can come back up and I'm going to rub my hands together again. Some of us experience osteoarthritis in the hands, peripheral neuropathy in the hands, right? So I want to attend to this. I'm going to interlace my fingers and press the palms away. Maybe it's away and down based on how you feel. And I'm just giving a little bit of juice to my finger joints. And I might feel okay lifting the arms up a little higher and then releasing them down. All right, so inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hands out and down. Big wide sweeps. I can see this at the edge of my vision. And I might like to turn on some inner vision now and imagine that I'm creating a sphere all around my entire body. And in this sphere is my space, my safe space. I'm breathing in and breathing out, right? Thinking of you, Amy. She's practicing from her safe room in Israel, breathing in, breathing out. So I'm really taking care to make this space for myself. And it's like a boundary, right, of my time set up to care for myself. That's good, Bill. And we'll take one more circle around the whole body. All right, and then I'm going to channel my inner Nancy Campbell. She was so awesome. She showed us a few hand movements we can do for strengthening the hands to help with grip. We're good, regardless of whether you have PN in your hands or fingertips or not. So I'm going to try to bring my thumb and my first finger together as strong as I can, right? Pushing the fingertip and the thumb together. And then I'm going to move one by one, hold for 3 seconds, moving out to the side, to the pinky, all the way to the pinky, right? And I'm just noticing this. And I might like to do this at the edge of my vision. Oh my gosh, I don't know what happened, Anne, but your whole monitor just filled up with balloons. Like there are these weird reactions that our Zoom filters have. This is a really good one for you, I'm thinking. So I'm at the edge of my vision with my hands and I'm strengthening my fingers, right? Maybe the fingers respond, maybe they don't. If they don't respond, Nancy as well asked us to imagine that the hands were doing what you wanted them to do. Use the power of the mind. Okay, we're coming to the last set. You got it, Jane. Beautiful. And then I'm just going to roll my wrist a few times, maybe in an infinity pattern. Shake it out, grab a sip of water, and then we're going to get to some whole body movements. Okay, so I'm going to move my chair back a little bit for you. Whole body movements, or almost the whole body. So I'm going to widen my stance a little bit here. Feeling my feet on the earth. If I'm wearing shoes, I'm feeling my shoes on the earth. Many of you need to wear shoes at all times. So I want to be mindful of that. I'm going to take a circle with my torso, awareness of everything in front of me. And I might take a circle where I'm more aware of what's on the right side of me, coming to the right side. And I could take my gaze to that point far away and kind of soften my gaze. And I might come back the other direction, awareness of what's to the left of me. Circling my torso in that direction. And then slowly coming back to center, I'm going to open my arms out to the sides like a goalpost or cactus, and I'll squeeze my forearms together. See if you can get those elbows together as well. That's good. We're breathing in, opening wide. Can I bring my arms so far back that I can't even see them in my peripheral vision? Closing the arms in front, fusing the forearms together. We're breathing in, opening wide. Breathing out, pressing. So I know where my hands are there because I can feel them pressing together. So yoga often asks us to bring our awareness to different places in the body. And this is sort of this introception, like I was talking about before, kind of turning on my inner vision. And for all of this work I'm doing, I'm going to give myself a hug. I'm going to close my eyes and just see if I can feel the breath rising up from the earth to the crown of the head. This would be an interoceptive exercise. So I'm breathing in, breath is coming up, and I'm breathing out, breath is going down. I might open the arms and give myself another hug with the opposite arm on top. Breathing in from the feet to the crown and back down, filling my whole body with awareness. All right, and then we're releasing from that, and I'm going to just walk my feet back and take a few opposite arm, opposite leg walks to kind of get things moving, get the blood pumping. See how that feels for you, and noticing, maybe being grateful for those mechanoreceptors in the body that are keeping me upright right now, that can sense my body in space, even though I can't see my feet. I can feel my feet to some degree. You got it. You got it, Ginger. And then we're going to come back and we're going to stretch just the right leg out. So just the right leg out straight in front with the heel on the earth. And I'm going to point my toes down and peel my toes up and back. I'm going to do that a few times, a few foot pumps here. And again, I'm requesting that you look far away, soften the gaze. And when I ask myself to soften the gaze, I often find myself softening other parts of me, like my shoulders, my jaw. Okay, let's try the other side. Left heel on the earth, pressing down and peeling back up. Softening my gaze. Just awareness of this sphere all around me that I've created. Turning on my inner vision. Maybe one more pump. All right. Then I'm going to turn my whole body over to the right side. Turning my whole body to the right side. And let's twist to the right a little bit. So I'm holding onto the back of my chair, twisting to the right just a little bit. I'm keeping my back nice and upright. And then coming back to center. Taking a little mini twist to the right. And coming back to center. And then one more little mini twist to the right. And coming back to center. All right. And now I'm going to walk my left foot out in front. So I still have my right leg to the right. And I'm going to start to twist my torso to the left a little bit. So I'm coming back to center here. And my left foot is straight out in front. Not the easiest way to get there, but that's the way I somehow chose today. So I got my torso pointing towards you. My right leg is out to the right, and my left leg is out in front. Maybe I can sweep that left leg to the side a little bit more. So you notice we're in a warrior two foot shape. And with this, I can add a little bit of pressure to my bones by engaging the muscles in my legs. So I'm engaging the muscles in my legs. And then I'm going to bring both arms straight out to the side. So I'm going to take a peek over my right hand and a peek over my left fingertips. And I might gaze back and forth one or two times. I'm sort of memorizing where my body is in space. And then I'm going to stay with my gaze over my right fingertips, finding something far away and softening my gaze so that I can take in and take note of my whole body in space right now. I'm taking a breath in and a breath out. My muscles are still working to exert some pressure on the bones. Maybe one more breath here. And you can relax the arms down for a moment. So I'm going to keep let's keep the left hand on the left leg. And I'm going to lift my right arm up and back. So I'm going to reverse warrior. And the gaze can be wherever feels best. Some of us like to gaze up for this. Some of us like to gaze down for this. It's totally up to you. Big breath in. And then we're coming back. And this time I'm going to bring my hand onto my right knee or my forearm across my right thigh. And that left arm is going to travel up and over. So this we would call an extended side angle. Can you soften that right shoulder? Yeah, that's it. Beautiful. And I'm not bouncing so much within this. It's just a held pose. And coming back up nice and slow. And then let's reset and walk it out between sides. So I love the Warrior series, the Warrior 2 series for proprioception, because so often we sort of forget about that arm, that back arm, where it is in space. And over time, I've really noticed my ability to know where my arm is in Warrior 2, just from practicing it. All right, so let's try the other side. Let's sweep the whole body to the left, and we'll do a twist to start. So this is helping me kind of notice what's behind me. I'm going to take a little twist to the left, taking in the back of the room here, coming back to center, breathing in. Exhale, twist left. It's just a little gentle twist. And maybe one more little twist to the left. Come on back to center. And let's go ahead and sweep that right leg out in front. Turning my torso to face you. And if there's more room to travel with the right leg could move out to the side. See how that feels. Don't want to feel discomfort in my hips here. And then we'll float the arms out equally in both directions. How do I know if it's equal? Now, if you have a shoulder issue, right? You could leave that one arm down. You don't have to lift both arms. Okay, so I'm gazing over to the left. I'm gazing behind me to the right, and I'm noticing where my body is in space. And I'll keep my gaze. Maybe it's over my left fingertips or over my left shoulder if I'm not holding up my arm. Softening the gaze, finding my breath, and putting a little tension on the bones by squeezing the muscles along the bones in the hips. You got it. One more big breath. And then we'll bring both arms down. Okay, so now the right arm can stay on the right leg. And we're lifting that left arm up and over, reversing the warrior. Gaze is wherever feels best. Everything is softening here. You've got it. Maybe it's just a lean to the left so you can feel the stretch in the left side body. Good. And then let's try the other way. So I'm bringing my left hand onto my left knee or my left forearm onto my left thigh. And that right arm is traveling up and over. And feel a really big stretch here. Gaze is wherever feels good. Couple breaths. And slowly return to center. So those poses, or at least the warrior, I think the warrior and the extended side angle are two poses that we're going to do in our Yoga for Stronger Bones webinar coming up in the end of February. And we'll learn why those poses, and we'll learn how long we actually have to hold them to get the benefit. We can do them seated and we can do them standing. So I'm looking forward to that. Really, really looking forward to that. That long last. Okay, so before we stand, you can make a decision whether that's good for you today or not. You could stay seated if it's not. But I want to take a moment to slow everything down. I could even close my eyes and bring awareness using my interoceptive capabilities of my breath, what the breath feels like traveling in and out. Awareness of what parts of the body move with my breath. And perhaps in my mind's eye, I can envision standing up and how I'm going to do it mindfully. And when I'm ready, I could do it. So I'm not in any hurry to transition to a standing posture. And I also could stay seated if that's what my body is telling me to do. You could stand up and then decide to sit. Now, regardless of whether you're seated or standing, we're going to start with the feet. Starting with the feet. And I'm moving my mind down to my toes, filling up my toes with my awareness. And then maybe, just maybe, I could ask my toes to lift up off the earth and spread really wide. Maybe they're within the confines of my shoes, digging them back down. So I'm just working with my toes, lifting, spreading, and digging. And if it helps, you could look down at your toes and have a little conversation with them. Lifting, spreading, and digging. You can kind of notice that some toes get fused together. We're working on unfusing them. So lifting the gaze now, let's press just the big toes down and maybe, just maybe, lift all the little toes. Press all the little toes down and lift the big toes, maybe. And if it's not happening for you, you can do it in the mind's eye. All right, I love it. So we're working with the toes, lifting the big toes, and then lifting the little toes. You've got it. I love that background there, Greg. Sunny, sunny skies, sunny blue skies. All right, and now I'm going to come up onto my tiptoes and slowly make my way back down. I told Nancy in an email after our class, our cardio flow class, that I was already having Nancyisms come out of my mouth. Press through the big toe. It's big for a reason, right? She's reminding us that there is this really supportive structure underneath the big toe. So when I come up, I'm really trying to bring my weight there instead of to the outside edges. Do you want to add the arms or arm? I'm breathing in. Maybe I'm just doing this in my mind's eye. Floating my way up, fluttering my way down. 10 tiptoe floats every day, times 2. You got it. That's great, Betty. We're going to take one more. Maybe it's just one arm floating up. And then I'll take a little space between my feet. And I'm going to circle the hips. Circling the hips, I haven't forgotten about my soft gaze out into the distance. Maybe it's out the window. And in my view today is a lush green, I think it's a mountain laurel plant, and then a bird feeder. So I get to see the birds as I'm practicing with you. You can move in the other direction, feeling that big circle, lubricating the hip joints. Right, Sophie, do what works for you here. And then I'll bring my arms down. And let's lift the right arm up and over. And as we lift the right arm up and over, we're going to let that left arm dangle. So it's really loose and relaxed. And I'm stretching, extending, and then coming back to center. Maybe it's the left hand on the left hip, or maybe that left arm reaches up. Regardless, I'm leaning over to the right side, and I'm letting that right shoulder really relax. Moving from side to side a few more times. Your own pace. So when we move the body, pretty much in any way, we have these messages being sent from all of the tissues in the body that are working to the brain, telling us how this feels and where we are. And so that's one way we can improve proprioception, is simply by actually using the system that's in place. All right, let's come back and let's bring the arms out to the sides. I'm going to be loose in my knees and my hips, and I'm just going to twist to the left. See how far around I can go and how much I can see over there. And then twist to the right. See how far I can twist around and see over there. So I'm just twisting from side to side and allowing my gaze to rest on one or two things. Seeing if I can have 360-degree vision here, or even more. Could take one more on each side, or if you're done, you're done. And then we're going to finish this sequence with giving ourselves a hug. So giving myself a hug, one arm on top, maybe shortening my stance so I'm not in my wide stance anymore. Taking a breath in and sighing it out. All right. And then we'll move through the Warrior One series. So I'm going to take my right foot forward and my left foot back. And today we will be practicing with that left foot at a little bit of an angle. And I want a nice wide base. So I'm walking my right foot to the right, and I'm sinking into my right knee. And I'm squeezing that left glute muscle. My gaze is straight ahead at something far away, and I'm noticing how much I could notice. Now you could do whatever feels good with you for the hands. You could bring the hands to heart center. You could lift both arms up. Right? You could keep one hand on the chair. So if I feel wobbly, I'm going to keep one hand on my chair. Finding my breath. You got it. A good stretch for that left hip. Beautiful. And then I'm shortening this stance. I'll still have my right foot forward, and I'm going to take a few bows. So I'm going to do a dynamic version of this. I'm going to come down with my heart, keeping my back somewhat flat, and then I'm coming right back up. So I'm going to do a few of these. So rather than just moving the chin down, let's see if you can reach the heart down, right? So come on up, and the whole torso is moving, not just the head. And then maybe the next time you come down, you want to stay down. The forearms could rest on the chair. I'm tucking my chin, so I have a nice long neck. You got it. And then we're going to switch sides. So come on up slowly, step the left foot forward, move the right foot back. That right foot is at a little bit of an angle, and I have lots of space between my feet, so I feel balanced. Sinking into my left knee. I'm going to protect that hip joint, squeeze the right glute, put a little pressure on the hip joint. Good for the bones. And then I'm fixing my gaze far away, softening my gaze. Maybe the hands or one hand on the heart. Right? See what feels right to you. Maybe the hands overhead would feel good. That's great, Catherine. Finding my breath. Taking care of myself. You got it. And then we're slowly moving to the second shape. Pyramid pose with a shortened stance and both legs straight. You got it, Karen. So beautiful. I'm just going to dip my beak here in my imaginary bird bath and then come back up. So I'm really straight through my back here. It's not the neck moving at all. It's my whole spine moving forward, coming down and lifting up. You got it. And then next time you come down, you can maybe stay there. The hands could be on the hips or the forearms can rest on the chair. Can you tuck the chin? Tuck that chin, right? So I'm almost kind of trying to make a double chin. Breathing in. Breathing out. And slowly making your way back up. And maybe you want to walk it out, whether you're sitting or standing, we're opposite arm, opposite leg, lifting a little higher, going a little slower. You got it, Mike. Yes, I can see you're ready to get back to it, Susan W. Little bit of movement in a lot of places. Okay, and then I'm just going to lean my heart forward and let my arms swing. Let go of holding the arms at all. Let the effort drain from the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, each finger joint. All right, and then we're coming back up, and I'm going to do one more really fun little thing here, and then we'll begin to wind down. So let's come to stand on our imaginary balance beams, right? And maybe you don't feel up to doing this today without some support. That would be okay. You could find a wall and walk along the edge of a wall, holding the hand on the wall. So what I'll do is I'm rolling out my imaginary balance beam. But before I do this practice today, I'm going to try my peripheral vision exercise. So I'm going to just find a place to gaze straight ahead. And I could take my arm or my arms out straight in front. Doesn't have to be both arms. And I'm widening my arms out until I can no longer see them. And then I'm just leaving my hands at the edge of my vision and seeing, just awareness of that whole space. And with an awareness of everything in my peripheral vision, I'm going to relaxedly start walking forward. And I'm just going to take one foot in front of the other. It doesn't have to be heel toe to start. And then I'll keeping my peripheral vision. If you have to look down, you can look down. But my goal is to work towards not looking down, but using the vision that's both to the sides and down. So walking back, and again, we'll do one more little peripheral vision exercise here. So I'm going to bring my hand down to the frame of my vision below me, right? So, and I'm going to see if I keep my head straight ahead, where is my hand in space? Can I see that with my peripheral vision? And I'm going to take it out of frame, right? So I'm aware of all this space underneath me. And then I'm going to do my balance beam again. All right, sorry, I forgot to give you the peripheral vision down as well. Walking, maybe it's heel toe this time. Maybe you want to walk backwards, heel toe. Right? Does that gaze, does that peripheral vision make a difference? Play with it. Maybe you want to do one more walk. And then we'll meet back with some support. That's great. And I really hope some of you can come to the Ed Forum this year, because we're going to be practicing in person. And this is so much fun in person. Doing balance beam exercises and balance work in person is so much fun. So we'll be giving you the details for that. So speaking of balance work, last standing pose, or you can do this seated in the mind's eye. So I'm going to bring my weight in onto my right foot, softening that bend. So I'm not locking the knee. Nancy and I agree on that one. And we're lifting up the left leg and hugging it in for flamingo pose. And I'm asking myself to widen my gaze and my awareness to everything around me. And I'm not rigid in my stance. I'm like a willow bending in the breeze. If I fall out of it, that's okay. I'll come back to it. I'm working towards taking my hand off the chair, but if I need the chair, it's there. You got it. And then we'll switch sides. So we'll kick out that right leg, give a little juice to that right knee. And if you are caring for knee issues, maybe you don't stay so long or you skip it altogether. So weight in that left leg, soft bends, pick up the right leg, hug it in. Gaze is soft, out in the distance. And I'm working on finding my edge. If it's really easy for me today, I could close my eyes and find my wobble that way. One more breath. All right. Come on out of it, kick it out. Awesome job, Nancy. And then we'll come to sit. Coming to sit mindfully, if you were standing. Winding down with a little more stretching here, that right ankle over the left knee. Right ankle over the left knee. Out. Take a sip of water if you need it. And I'm just leaning my heart forward until I feel the right amount of sensation for me. And I might not even need to move forward at all before I'm there. Finding my breath, softening my shoulders, tucking my chin. You've got it, Beth. Beautiful. Finding that breath. Beth and breath. It rhymes. Okay, we'll sit up, cross the knee over, take a little twist to the right. Gazing as far right as you possibly can with your eyeballs, right? So the eyeballs are moving to the edge of the vision there. And then slowly coming back to center, just a little visit. Switching sides with that left ankle over the right knee. To whatever degree feels safe, reaching forward. Softening what I can soften, but I'm trying not to hunch and round my back. I'm trying to keep a nice tall spine. Tucking my chin. Finding my breath. Finding my Beth. I'm so glad this year we found our Beth. Sitting up, and we'll cross that knee over. Take that twist to the left, moving my eyeball all the way to the edge of my left field of vision. And slowly making my way back. All right, so last little exercise here. And I will be sending out that body scan meditation again, because I really think it's awesome for helping build awareness, body awareness. I'm gonna take my hands and rub them together. Yes, pat, take those glasses off if you want. No pressure, but you can take the glasses off. See if you could just infuse your hands interoceptively, infuse your hands with kindness and care. And I'm going to palm my hands over my eyes. I'm just going to drink that in for a moment or two as I breathe in and breathe out. Maybe I want to roll the eyes around one more time. And then keeping the eyes closed, I'm just going to bring my hands down into my lap. And we'll close with 3 breaths together. As we breathe in, we can feel the breath traveling in the body. In and out. And I might feel my physical body, and I might also feel my energetic body. That might be a little bigger than my physical body. And we can close with both hands at heart center, sending those tendrils of support out to one another and being open to receiving support as well. We are not alone. Feel free to join me in practicing 1 Om and 3 Shantis. The word Shanti means peace in Sanskrit. You could just listen, or you could make another sound. Om. Shanti. 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 Blinking the eyes open. Thank you so much for your practice today, friends. It's so nice to spend time with you in this way. I look forward to seeing you in the next offering. And you can always email me if you have feedback. We send that along to our board. We send that along to our management and let them know what you're really thinking. So you can do that by emailing me anngrace@iwmf.com.